Morning by everyone, myself Tinder Singh and my student ID is WOC3172. Today I'm going to present a presentation on corporate accounting. I hope you guys like it. Moving on to the next slide. In the first slide I'm going to discuss about introduction, in which I'm going to discuss about the income tax. The income tax is one of the most important and high income earning sources for a government. Income tax payable by business at the end of every financial year. Businesses are required to pay income tax even if the company do not earn sufficient profit. Chodhyan Mizrika in 2018 with the example. The selected company is listed in ASX known as Angel Seafood Holdings Limited. Every country has its own rules and regulations for income tax payment. The income tax payable by Angel Seafood Holdings Limited for 2018 and 2019 has been discussed in the report. The company is listed in the Australian Stock Exchange as a public company. Moving on to the next slide. Well, in this slide, I'm going to discuss about the common terminology. Common terminology is the taxable temporary difference is the taxable amount that shall produce a future yield for determining a company's profit or loss before income tax. I'm going to discuss about 3 points. Accounting profit is the total income of the business measured as per regulation of GAAP Schedule et al. 2017. Taxable profit is the difference between accounting profit and the total income. The temporary difference is the difference between carrying amount of assets and liabilities recorded in the balance sheet of the company or for taxable calculations. The deductible temporary difference is the deductible future value for estimating the profit and loss of the businesses. The income tax payable shall be higher than the accruable income tax. Moving to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about the recognition criteria for deferred tax assets and liabilities. The default amount of deferred tax liability occurs due to the future payment of tax liability on a temporary basis. Deferred tax assets are a taxable amount that is paid as an amount of tax for the business in a year. Deferred tax assets are the due tax pay amount likely to be payable by the businesses. Deferred tax expenses are the actual taxable amount computed on the basis of taxable income payable ABERS in 2019. It is recognized on the basis of a net differential amount between the carrying amount of an asset and the amount book value of the asset recorded in the financial statement for the taxable calculation. Moving to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about the tax expenses. The tax expenses for any business which is public limited in nature are recorded in the income statement of the company. Angel Seafood Holdings Limited has recorded a tax expense of 116 million in 2018 and no tax in 2019. The taxable amount is recorded on the income tax statement for the company. It recorded the amount that shall be payable by the business at the end of the year as tax expenses, which can be shown in the table as in the power slide. The company does not have to pay taxes in the current year in comparison to 2018 as $1,061,349. This amount states the actual income tax payable by the business from its net profit to the taxation authority of the country. These are some of the points which elaborates the brief discussion about the tax expenses. Now I'm moving to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about the accounting profit. The accounting profit for a business is also known as the profit after income tax. It is the amount from which the net taxable income is deducted for at the statutory taxable rate to derive this figure every year by the business. It is calculated after reducing the taxable amount that is required to be paid by the business in a year. The tax expenses for the company is nil in 2019. Their PBIT and PAT is same. However, in the previous year, the company held as a taxable amount against its income as $1,061,349. AngelSeafood.com in 2019. It is compulsory to pay taxes for the payment of taxes against its operative activities. The deferred tax liabilities are assets in different kind of system, which has been shown in the table as you can see on the power slide. Now I'm moving to the next slide. In this slide, we are going to discuss about the deferred tax assets and liabilities. In the financial statement of Angel Seafood Holdings Limited, there is an extension of both deferred tax assets and liabilities. The amount of deferred tax assets for Angel Seafood Holdings Limited for 2018 and 2019 was $1 million, $1.5 million approximately, and $4.3 million respectively. The amount of deferred tax liabilities are which is negative $1.5 million for 2018 and minus 43 million in 2019 in the civil.com 2019. There is no carried forward deferred tax assets and the liabilities for the business attribute in the financial statement of the company. None of the amounts is adjusted with carrying forward losses or profit for the previous year, nor any amount is carried forward in the future year by the businesses. Moving to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about current tax assets or income tax payables. In 2018, the company paid its income tax liability of an amount of $1.6 million. However, a new tax benefit has created in 2019 as new benefits. The company has been able to manage the benefits from 2018, due to which no payment of income tax is required in 2019. The tax expenses or tax benefits for the company is calculated at 27.5%. Tax benefit paid by the company in 2019 was due to incurrence of the loss-making institution for the business in the given year. In 2018, the company has faced a huge accounting loss, and the tax benefit was paid in the same said year. Moving on to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about the cash flow. There is a difference in the income tax expenses recorded in the PL account and the cash flow statement of the businesses. It is due to income tax payable for the year is recorded in the income tax statement, whereas income tax paid in actual is recorded in the cash flow statement under operative activities by the company. The cash flow statement of the company recorded the income tax paid in the income statement, and the cash flow statement is not the same all the time. In 2019, the company did not make payment of any corporate tax yet to ATO in 2019. In 2018, the company suffered a loss and thus earned a tax revenue. And you can see on the graph that has been shown on the presentation. Moving on to the next slide. In this slide, I'm going to discuss the difference between the temporary and the permanent differences. A temporary difference is the business occurs as a result of the time difference in the payment of tax between two financial years. It often happens that tax is recognized in the fiscal year and paid in another year. The permanent difference is created due to the non-recovery of the amount over a period of time. The temporary difference is the difference between the pre-tax book income and the taxable income of the business. On the other hand, the permanent difference is the difference between tax expenses incurred and the tax payable by the company in actual. And then one company example of the permanent difference is penalty or fines paid by the company due of non-compliances of their work or the efforts they are trying to put in the company. And I'm going to move to the next slide. In the conclusion, I will like to conclude that the current corporate tax rate is applicable to Angel Seafood Holdings Limited Company at 27.5%. A change in the taxable income and accounting income has given rise to the treatment of tax accounting. The report is an essay synopsis about the assessment of tax liability for the company. In the end, it can conclude that the report has expressed all major sections under corporate accounting rules for payment of taxes. It is important to ascertain the tax accounting expenses and income separated by the businesses. Moving on to the next slide. These are some of the references which have been used to make this assignment as well as this presentation. And moving to the next slide. Thank you everyone. I hope you guys have enjoyed my video. Thanks and have a good day.